Hey you guys, it's Peter! And I'm back! Of course I'm back. I'm YouTube famous now. I mean, like, I've been YouTube famous since, like, video one. Like, when people say that, I love in the comments when people are like, YouTube famous, bah! I'm like, bah! Are you a lamb? Because, I've been YouTube famous since video one. Like, that's just it, so get over it. When people think I really believe that. I didn't know what to do a video today about, so I reached out to a friend of mine, and I'll just give him a shout out, John Wilson. He has a YouTube channel. He's a really neat guy. He and his partner have been together for about the same time that my husband and I have been together. We have a lot in common. He's a new YouTuber. I'm going to link his channel below. Please go give him some love. He is from the UK. He's got 2 adorable dogs. He does a little bit of this, a little bit of that on his channel, all of it, you know. So, anyway, he's a really sweet guy, and, yeah, go follow his channel. But anyway, I said, I don't know what to do, and he goes, well, why not a Q&A? And I was like, well, when it's a Tuesday, and you have nothing to do, and you haven't done a Q&A in a really long time, why not a Q&A? So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I reached out to Twitter and I reached out on Instagram and I asked people what they thought. Somebody just sent me a message. I'm sure you... I asked people if they had any questions for me, okay? And so let's just get right to the questions because they're so exciting. Oh my God. Okay, so here's the first question. When do you expect your next book to come out? And what tips would you give someone that is thinking of writing a book? Okay, my number one thing about writing a book is write down all of your ideas and kind of outline it, and then your outline can turn into chapters. Is my number one piece of advice. I got that from Brent Hardiger, who wrote the Geography Club series. I adore the man. He's one of my all-time favorite authors. And then you kind of allow your book to grow organically from that. I think my next book, I was looking at next summer. I have a feeling once working with my publisher, it will probably come out next fall because I've been a little late to the game in getting it to her. So, let's see. Next question. Will you be coming to New Orleans, anytime soon? Have you ever been to Mardi Gras? I have never been to Mardi Gras, but I have been to New Orleans. And I went down there actually... God, like 15 years ago, probably now. And I went to like Thibodeau and some surrounding areas and looked at treatment programs because I was helping build a treatment program up here in Indianapolis. But like, and I remember there was a kind of coffee that everybody, it was called like community coffee that everybody drank. And like, listen, let me just tell you about Louisiana. How do you guys pronounce it? Louisiana. It is like some of the most beautiful country I have ever seen in my entire life. Like the houses on the stilts and stuff like that. I wasn't real thrown down with New Orleans. Actually, I thought it was very dirty city. I'm sure it could be a lot of fun for Mardi Gras, but no, I haven't been there for Mardi Gras. And it's not really like one of my bucket list things. Like when people talk about bucket lists, it's like, I used to have like Times Square for New Year's Eve, and that's not really on my bucket list. And it's interesting, like I would like to do Paris on New Year's Eve or Paris on Christmas Eve. But like Times Square and Mardi Gras and stuff like that, like I would go, but like I'm not super excited about it. What is your favorite TV show of all time? Love you, said Simone. I love that name. My all-time favorite show of all time is Roseanne, followed by Lost. Lost wore me out. I loved that show so much. And then I love Love Boat is one of my all-time favorite shows. Designing Women, and all kinds of reality shows. All right. Then Candy said, you probably got 2 Christmas cards for me. I did, Candy. Thank you so much. Both of them were gorgeous. Let's see. I'm trying to steer queer. That's not real hard for me. Steer clear of like the real serious questions on here, you guys. I don't like and what I mean by that is more like professional questions. It's kind of hard for me to answer those questions on like a video, if that makes sense. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? To fly, hands down. In your line of work and based off of your commitment to end bullying, do you ever work with the sadnation.org? Actually, I read this question earlier. I didn't know what they were. I know nothing about them, but I'm going to look into them. Thank you so much for giving me their information. So I'm looking into that. Marcus Connolly. Hey, Marcus! Oh my God, I love Marcus's channel. Go follow Marcus. He's this young guy from the UK. He does real positive videos. I've shouted him out before. I'm going to link his channel below, too. He's a really neat kid. He's kind of like, I would say, my YouTube little brother a little bit. I have a lot of BookTube little brothers. He's kind of like my YouTube little brother. Are you ever thinking of traveling to the UK at any point, or Europe in general? Yeah, Alex and I are looking at, we're like trying to plan a lot of trips out and where we want to go and things like that. And the UK is definitely on there. I've been there quite a bit in my past, so it's not like on my bucket list, but on Alex's, like he really wants to come to London and see the countryside and stuff like that. Any advice for a fictional novel writer? I've been writing stories since middle school. Right. Every good writer, if you ask them, like, what's the key to writing, what's the success story to writing, they will tell you, you have to get up and write every day. You have to make a commitment to it. Toni Morrison, she would, like, come home from working 40 hours a week, you know, like, make dinner for her kids, and then she would, like, put them to bed and all this kind of stuff, and then she would write from, like, 10 to 2 in the morning. True story. What inspired you to become an author? When I was a little kid, my mom would, like, take me to the library, and I just, you know, like, she would pick out certain authors for me, and I can remember, like, reading the Beatrix Potter books, and, you know, I'm trying to think of some other books, like, just, like, the Curious George books, and then she would have me write little stories if I wanted to, and from a very young age, I was very imaginative and lived in this imaginative world, and so to come up with story ideas, I loved that so much. What do you think of Jeffree Star's newest video, cutting a Chanel bag in half? I have not seen the video. I saw the thumbnail. It's part of this knife challenge, I guess, so I don't really want to say anything about it without having seen the video. But I think that's kind of a sin to cut a Chanel bag in half. Anyway, if that's what he does in the video. If you could live anywhere in the world other than the United States, where would you live? Probably an island in the Caribbean, and maybe Grand Cayman. When is your album on iTunes coming out? I'm aiming for Valentine's Day, because hearts. Aren't I so fucking cute? And when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? Okay, this is so funny. I wanted to be a soap opera writer. My grandma watched soap operas, stories, we call them, and I wanted, telenovelas, if you're Latino, and I wanted to watch them. I watched them with my grandma. I used to watch All My Children, One Life to Live, and General Hospital back to back when I was a kid. And then we would tape them. My mom never watched them. She hated them. But I wanted to be a soap opera writer. So that was my dream growing up as a kid. And then let's take to Instagram and see all the Instagram questions. I posted this picture on Instagram. Oh my Lord, look at that sexy daddy as fuck. Let's see what questions I got on Instagram. I just got a new one. If you were an ice cream flavor, what would it be? You know I love you. Amberlynn TYA. She must be a booktuber. If I was a flavor of ice cream, what would I be? Mint chocolate chip, of course. What's your star sign? Do you follow or believe in astrology? I'm a Cancer. I do believe in it a little bit. Somebody else asking her what my birthday is. My birthday is June 29th. How do you deal with anxiety? I am not somebody that suffers from a lot of daily anxiety. I do suffer from a lot of, like, social anxiety, okay? So, like, what I mean by that is, like, I do not like going places where I don't know who's gonna be there. I don't like going into places where there's gonna be lots of, like, crowds of people. It makes me very nervous. I just, like, if you see me walk into a room that I'm not comfortable in, 9 times out of 10, I have my head down. I'm just not super comfortable with it. But, like, I don't deal with, like, daily anxiety where I wake up and I'm like, ugh. I will tell you that, like, at moments in my life where I have dealt with a lot of anxiety, some of the things I've done is I've really, like, centered myself, sat down and like, meditated on the thought of, like, you know, like, taxes or something that just bring me a lot of anxiety. And so, like, I'll think to myself, like, this is not gonna kill you in this moment. Like, sitting on your deathbed looking back, this moment is not gonna kill you. It's not gonna be something that's gonna kill you, you know? For a long period of time, I did have panic attacks, and they were always associated with driving on the interstate. I don't like feeling like I'm gonna be trapped somewhere, but, like, elevators and things like that don't do that to me. It's always on the interstate. I don't know why. And so as long as I'm in the lane that's farthest to the side of the road and I can get out, like, I'm totally fine. But another little unknown secret about me, I do not like driving when there's semis in front of me and behind me. I don't like it. And when I was growing up and I was, like, 8 or 9, I had this babysitter, and her older sister was killed in a driver's ed car because like this truck was like, there was two semis and they were trapped in the middle of it and they like smashed them. I think that like somehow stuck in my head because I still have a fear of semis when I'm driving on the interstate. I mean, not like if they pass me by, but like if I'm stuck like and I can't get around them, I don't like that. Let's see what else. Do you ever want to lash out at people that make horrible videos about you or leave nasty comments? And if so, how do you handle it so maturely? And well, do I handle it well? I mean, and somebody else under here asks, how do you cope with hate on YouTube? How do you keep from punching people in the throat? I think the thing that hurts the most is when it's people that I know. Like, why didn't you just reach out to me and say, like, I have a huge issue with you? Like, to me, that seems like a really adult way to handle a situation. And this surpasses YouTube, okay? Like, I've had a lot of friends in my life that will go to people around me, and I'm sure you guys relate to this, and gossip and say, well, you know, this happened and blah, 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 whatever. Or people that will come to me and want to bitch and complain about somebody else. And I'm like, you know, you really need to go to that person and talk to them. Like, excuse me, you're not solving anything by coming to me and talking to them about it. You're just perpetuating the hate, right? So YouTube is very similar to that. It's like if somebody makes a video about me that I have no clue who that person is and it's just like an opinion video, or they say like, I'm a total asshole, something like that, like, that doesn't really bother me because, you know, it kind of goes along with what my mom always taught me, like, don't value don't value the opinion of those people you don't value to begin with. But it's hard, like, when it's somebody that I know, right? Because I do value them. And so, like, if it's a YouTuber that I become friends with, and then they're, like, saying things about me, I'm like, if you had such deep-seated issues with me, why would you, as an adult, like, not come to me and talk to me? Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. And that being said, those people that I have had issues with, I have reached out to. So, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here saying it and I'm not doing it. Like, I have done that. So I don't really understand it. I really think it's part of playing the YouTube game. And when people always come to me and they say, like, you're too young, I think there's partly, there's a truth to being too old, or you're too old, I'm too young. There's a truth to being too old on YouTube, and there's a truth to being too young on YouTube. And I don't think that any of the people that I'm talking about, and myself included, are that way. But I do think I wasn't prepared for the game of YouTube, if that makes sense. I am prepared for it now. I know how to handle it now, and I know how to handle myself. So it doesn't really bother me that much as much. I'll tell you what bothers me is this, is when people come to my videos and I know they're coming straight from one video and they leave a comment, and it'll be like a comment on a video that like I talked about with like my mom's, like my last Christmas with her, and they'll say like, you are the most disgusting, horrible fucking bully in the world. And I'm like, you don't even watch my videos. It is so obvious, right? Like, and so I'm like, why did you just waste 5-10 minutes of your time leaving this horrible message? And they're always like these huge messages, right? And I'm just like, block, delete, sorry. It's my channel. Like, if you're not going to come there and leave some constructive feedback, you're just going to leave hate, it's not going to be on my channel. But like, I'm not as good about that recently because it kind of just isn't bothering me anymore. So I just kind of leave the comments there. But I know I don't really want to lash out. That's just not who I am as a person. I'm not a person that lashes out and just like gets even. I don't like that. What's your favorite place you've ever visited? This is going to be so strange, you guys. Like, I love Vegas. I love the Caribbean. I've been like almost to every island in the Caribbean, and I've been to Europe. But like, my favorite place I've ever visited in my entire life is Miami, hands down. I am like Miami bound. Like, I cannot wait to move there. What advice can you give people starting their lives in the world? And what advice would you give someone who is discouraged about finding a great significant other? Well, the significant other piece, you know, I remember like years ago, I was like real distraught because I was between boyfriends, which meant basically 6 months. And I said something to my mom. I was like, I'm never going to meet the true love of my life. And she looked at me and she goes, well, baby, she goes, none of us are promised a partner in life, you know? If it happens, it's a blessing, but none of us are promised that. And so I've kind of remembered that, and like when like my ex came into my life, or like Alex came into my life, I felt like, oh, it's such a blessing. Like, this is such a wonderful thing to embrace, that I was blessed to have that. But I think like, you know, you're never gonna find your perfect person. And like, I don't know if you guys know like the 90-10 rule, but the 90-10 rule is when you're in a relationship, you're always looking for that 10% that you're not getting. And that 10% is like typically what you leave the relationship for. And then you get into another relationship and you find a person that has that 10%, but they don't have 10% that the other person before had. So you're constantly looking for that next 10% that you'll never gain. Nobody's perfect. You're never going to find your perfect partner. I don't believe that exists. And I'm not telling people to settle, but I do believe that you have to settle to some extent. Not in abusive relationships, but like settling like, maybe they don't have your dream job, or maybe their spiritual beliefs don't align with yours, or those kinds of things. But you can work through that stuff, you know? Somebody else on here asked, like, what is the key to a great relationship? I don't know that my husband and I have the greatest relationship in the world. Some days we do. Some days I look at him and I'm like, oh my God, I fucking love this man so much. Like, he is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And other days I'm just like, you know, but that's marriage. It's so, I'm like, you didn't take the trash out. You know, like, it's petty. But I think when you look at it like we're in it for the long haul, like we are staying in this relationship for the long haul, you know, unless like really horrible shit happens, then you can get through anything, I think. Let's see. That question was by Lunar Fleur. If you could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self, what would it be? And this is from Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. To my 18-year-old self, I would have said, stop smoking cigarettes, stop drinking, stop using drugs, and embrace life, dance with it, look at the beauty, not the negativity. Life is a gift. It truly is. Like, the years I engaged in substances really took a toll on me. I wish I had gotten sober at 17 or 18. I wish I had not waited until 22. And I am so blessed that I got sober so young. But, like, you know, you have to think about that, like, in the grand scheme of things. Life is totally a gift. And you can be positive about it, or you can be negative about it. You can look at the gifts, or you can look at the shit that happens to you. Because everybody's going to have shit in their life, right? But it's really about the beauty of life. And I try to embrace the beauty of life. Okay, one more question. Christmas or Halloween? Halloween. One more question. What is the #1 book that you recommend to everybody? Oh my God, it changes all the time. To Kill a Mockingbird is my all-time favorite book, but most people have read that, so I typically recommend She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. That book changed my life. So anyway, I love you guys. I love the wolf pack. Woof woof. Go leave under this video a bunch of blue hearts, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Oh, go follow my vlog channel too. It's listed below. Love you.